Good morning. This is Vicki Martinez from Giving Grace here in Poto, Oklahoma. And this is Love Thy Neighbor Moments. And the last few recordings we did has been about family. Last week was about sisters. And this week is going to be about children and family. I know for myself, I'd be lost without my children. And I know that not a lot of people probably feel that way, especially in today's times. Money is so short and it's hard, and people are struggling. But I'm going to read from the Bible, and we're going to help each other out today because believe me, growing with our family, we had seven, and, it wasn't all roses and daisies. I mean, everybody struggles in life, but I want to read from the Bible on how we can at least make it better. And I want to start in Psalms 127. And what this verse is going to tell you is how to start your life, even maybe before children. Psalms 127. Except the Lord build thy house, thy labor in vain that built it. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman waketh in vain. It is vain for you to rise up early, to set up late, to eat the bread of sorrows, for he giveth his beloved sleep. Lo, children are a heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. As arrows are in the hand of a mighty man, so are children of the youth. Happy is the man that hath his quiver full of them. They shall not be ashamed, but they shall speak the enemies in the gate. So, in this narrative down below in Psalms 127, it says the principle of this psalm is that all human efforts are in vain unless they have God's blessing. This principle is applied to four areas: building a house, guarding a city, working long hours, and having children. It is possible to accomplish all these things without God's blessing, but it is not possible to accomplish them purposefully and with eternal value without God's blessing. The psalm includes, incidentally, two practical reasons for having children: they bring you joy and they protect you. So, Psalms 27 is giving you the base rules on how to start, okay? How to start this family. And the next one I'm going to read is Matthew 18, and it's verse 1. And it says, at the time, Jesus came to the disciples unto Jesus, saying, who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? And Jesus called a little child unto him, and set him in the midst of them, and said, verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Whosoever therefore shall humble himself as this little child, the same is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And those who receive one such little child in my name receiveth me. I'm going to run down here. I'm going to skip a few little verses, and I'm going to go down to 10. Take heed that ye despise not one of these little ones. For I say unto you that in heaven their angels do always behold the face of my Father which is in heaven. Now, down in the narrative, I want to read you what that number 10 what they say about number 10. The reference to their angels in 10 supports the idea of an individual guardian angel for believers. Salvation is just not a privilege to be enjoyed, by a select few, but it is also to be shared with the lost so that they may be saved. Thus, it is not the Father's will that any of these little ones should perish. The immediate context in Matthew relates to the little ones, to believers, but the cross reference. So they're giving us guidelines on how to love our children, because I know I had two that were 10 months apart, and when you've got one crying, the other one's crying, you're trying to feed them, you're trying to do this, and it's just chaos. And sometimes you just have to step back and count to 10. And I actually did that when things were chaotic. I would just step back, count to 10, and start over. Because in the Bible, I mean, they're precious. Children are precious, and they do have little guardian angels looking out for them. It says so right there in the Bible. We just read that. And I'm going to read one more, or actually two more things. And this is going to be Mark 10:13. And Jesus blesses the children, and they brought young children to him that he should touch them. And his disciples rebuked those that brought them. But when Jesus saw this, he was much displeased and said unto them, Suffer the little children to come unto me, and forbid them not, for of such is the kingdom of God. Verily I say unto you, whosoever shall not receive the kingdom of God as a little child, he shall not enter therein. And he took them up in his arms and put his hands upon them, and he blessed them. And now these are just, he's giving us lessons on how to treat your children. And this next one is going to be a really good one. And I hope it don't offend anybody, but this is biblical on how you should treat your children. Okay, advice to parents and servants. This is in Ephesians 6, verse 1. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor thy father and the mother, which is the first commandment, that it may be well with thee, and thou mayest live long on the earth. And ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and the admonition of the Lord. Now, I'm going to read down here below in the narration on that 6:4. Fathers can provoke their children to wrath by injustice, loss of temper, undue severity, cruelty, favoritism, suppression, sarcasm, ridicule, misuse, abuse of authority, and training. And let me see. And the admonition is instructions that points out one's responsibilities and duties. So what he's saying right here, this is how we are to nurture our children, and not to provoke them with wrath. And that's all I'm going to do from the Bible. But I want to talk for just a second, because there's a lot of kids, right now that are probably in foster care. And we take what we do with our children to heart, and we don't realize what goes on in the real world. Let's say that we see it on TV, and but the Bible gives you the basics of not how to do that to your children. Can they be little stinkers at times? Absolutely. And that's when you take that 10 seconds breathe, and just walk back, and then walk back into the situation when you've got yourself under control, and do your thing. Be a good mom, be a good dad, nurture your child. And as I really feel, as this world keeps turning, it's going to get quite a bit worse. And really, our children is our future. And we are raising our futures right now in little homes all over this world. Those little 5, 6, 7, 10-year olds, that's our future right now. You're raising our future. So what you're raising is what's going to be leading our future. I can't really talk enough about that. I just feel like kids are so vulnerable, and they're so precious, and they're so naive. And, they want that love, and they want that security, and they want to know that they're safe when they're tucked into bed at night. And, you may not live in the perfect house. You may not have the perfect bed, but they can still feel safe, and they can feel loved, and they can feel nurtured. And I think that, even though they're your children, that is a wonderful way to love your neighbor. They are your children, but they are in your proximity. And at the very beginning, we said that a neighbor is someone in your proximity. Your children are in your proximity. So we've talked about parents, we talked about sisters last week, and today we're going to talk about children. And I just pray that this has spoken to someone. All is not lost. You may be having a hard time. You may be financially having a hard time, emotionally having a hard time. There's a lot going on in the world, but that's why we're here at Giving Grace. We're not just here to give free diapers, wipes, and formula. We're here. It's a part of our ministry. We're here to pray with you, to see if we can help you with the issues that you're going through. Sometimes just a good long talk or a little helping hand goes a long, long way. And I pray that this has really reached somebody and touched somebody, because our little kids are our future. And what you're creating right now in your home is what they're going to be as adults. And I just want everyone to love on their babies today. And if you need to take that 10 seconds and walk back, do it, and then go back to the problem. And if you need prayer, we love to pray with you. If you're not local, give us a little comment and we'll pray with you. Or you can come right down here to Dewey Avenue and we'll pray with you right here. We have a big old table set up. You walk into our lobby and there we are. So you just come on down. We would love to see you. We'd love to pray with you, talk with you, talk it out. If you're having problems with anything that I just discussed, let us know. Let us help you through this situation. And as I always say, have a blessed day and good day.